In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board designed for that purpose. The notice was transmitted to the official newspapers provided by resolution adopted January 7, 2023. Meeting notice has been continually posted on the borough website. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan?
Not here.
Councilwoman Phillips?
Here.
Councilwoman Egbert? Oh, I'm sorry. Absent but excused. Councilman Otteson?
Here.
Councilwoman Russo?
Here.
Councilman Pagan?
Here.
These aren't working out.
Thank you.
Microphones we're having a problem with.
What's up?
Microphones aren't working. Well, some are.
Some Exactly.
Mine is not. I don't know why.
Fine.
No, but it's working.
Okay.
Mine's in the presentation as well.
I don't know why mine isn't. Maybe
Check.
these two are connected.
Okay. Moving into caucus session, we have one item on caucus tonight. That's the Camden County Department of Health and Human Services municipal outreach updates and menu of services. Ms. Fuma?
Should I stand up? Should I?
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Ideally, yeah. Is that okay, Kel?
Podium?
Sure, yeah, it's just not working.
You can go to the mic, it doesn't work.
I've only sat through two of these so far, so I'm interested to see how you do against the other two. So,
Okay, thank you. Hopefully better, I don't know. Well, my name is Daniela Fumu. I work with the County Department of Health. The purpose of this municipal outreach for us is to help better, form better partnerships with our municipalities. We also recognize that our municipalities are cornerstones for a healthy environment for all the constituents in Camden County. And so we mainly just wanted you all to know that pretty much all the services we provide. See if you have had any experiences with the Camden County Department of Health and some of the services that we do provide. So I'll start, I guess, first with that question. Has anyone or anybody in the community been in touch with the Camden County Department of Health? Any feedback or some of the services you know that we provide?
Outside of all of your help during the pandemic, I
Okay.
would say I wouldn't, I couldn't necessarily say that anybody has reached out to us in regards to the services that you provide. But I know during the pandemic, you guys were incredibly helpful to us. I know you worked, I forget who my contact was there, but reached out routinely to check in on coordinating vaccines for the elderly and seniors. So again.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Anybody else?
And I have had communication with the department also, where if I have a resident and there's a problem with, a residence and it's beyond the scope of our zoning officer, and we refer to, I don't know if it's specifically your office, but I've done that on multiple occasions over the years.
Okay, great. Yeah, so mainly through the pandemic, obviously we helped set up testing and vaccination sites. Our vaccination site is actually still running over at Camden County College in Blackwood, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 6 p.m. And then we also provide testing kits to anybody in the community that wants one. Again, through our department, you just have to reach out to us. And, or even if you as a municipality wanted to request a couple hundred test kits and you give them out in the community at events, that's also something that we can do. The other thing I wanted to mention is our clinics. We do have 2 off-site clinics. Our health department is located in Blackwood on Lakeland Road, but we also have 2 off-site clinics that offer STD testing and treatment, and then they also do various vaccinations on top of COVID. So usually it's flu shots as well, seasonal obviously. And then we also offer a variety of other vaccinations such as like Hep A, Hep B, Hep C. And then we also have senior and disabled services. We have a whole environmental division. We have community health services, which is the division that I'm under. And some of the things that we provide are also PPE, personal protective equipment. So the pandemic, obviously, we got a lot of requests for that, but we're still doing that as well. So if anybody wants to get mask, gloves, hand sanitizer wipes for events, or just maybe in their school, or, a variety of different reasons, we have that available. Let's see, I have some other talking points that I just wanted to make sure I mentioned. Oh, yes, we have a Camden County Community Forum coming up. It is March 29th. It's a Wednesday at 8:30. It's going to be at the Camden County Office of Sustainability, which is also located in Blackwood. Again, it's just gonna be another forum for us to get our partners together, talk about our community needs assessment that we recently just did, and then kind of brainstorm ways that we can do other health initiatives in the community that people think would be helpful. So we invite you to that as well, if you're interested. We have radon kits available for a limited time. If anybody would like to test their home for radon, you can reach out to Casey Baker. The email is casey.baker@camdencounty.com, where you can schedule, or the constituents can schedule to come pick up their test, and all the instructions and everything will be provided for them. We would also, the main way we kind of communicate our events and things that are going on is through camdencounty.com. So we encourage people to sign up for our newsletter, where you can get ongoing, events and things like that. And then we also know that and I'm not too much of an expert on this topic, but some of the other municipalities have been asking questions about the lead-based paint inspections and the new law. Yeah, so we just wanted to mention that if your town had any specific concerns with that, we are referring all questions to our health officer, Pascal Nuaco, Dr. Nuaco. So he's available to help you kind of, take care of that, because I know that some of the municipalities have been mentioning that, and if our inspectors are going out and doing that.
Yeah, I'd mentioned that last night in Gloucester City, where they've been identified as one of, I think, 2 communities in Camden County that need to start doing testing and wiping of sills and painting and things like that on
Right.
changes of tenancy and ownership
Mm-hmm.
of properties, or that the landlord or the owner that's selling has to provide that, but the ultimate responsibility falls on the borough. I know others are going to be added. My question was, there's 700 rental units in Gloucester City, at least,
Right.
and the staffing, I had asked about the assistants to do those types of inspections, and you have to have certain qualifications to do that. It has not come to Adonai yet. It's actually based upon testing that they do among the children, and if you have a certain level,
Right.
then they require you to triggers it, and I don't think Adonai's is anywhere near that, but they do have some old residences, and ultimately, I assume that program is gonna go statewide. So at some point, it would be nice to get an answer of whether the county board of health could assist in that testing or get folks qualified, because it's extensive training. And, these houses are beautiful, but they do go back many, many years when they were constructed at a time when they may have been using lead-based paints, right?
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the town, again, this is an old town. There's several homes here in the core of our community that were built probably pre-Haddon Heights being incorporated. So I would venture to guess that those are lead-based paint homes. Whether or not it's still lead-based paint, and whether they've been refinished, refurbished, but yeah.
And any kind of outreach in communities that aren't required to test, some outreach for the health department would be nice.
Okay, yeah, I know right now we have a lead-based grant where we have a case manager, it's a nurse who does follow up with the kids that do show a level of concern for their lead level. And then they just kind of help them remediate and talk about some of the things that they can do to help lower the child's blood level. And then we do have only one inspector, I believe, that is certified to go out and do those types of inspections. So we're working on trying to get, more people that are certified in doing this. So we'll keep that.
Excuse me, Howard and/or the mayor, Are fire departments getting involved in doing any of these inspections? Okay,
No,
okay.
it's the construction department and the code enforcement.
So I think the requirement is right for its rental properties. That's specific.
So Dave and I have been talking about this, so it's, I'm very well aware of what you guys are talking about, and we're trying to put something in place so that these inspections take place. But he was telling me over in Audubon that, I don't know if it's his fire chief or who did the training and were doing the inspections, but I didn't know if that was something.
The notion is that like, right, so annually rentals are required to be
Mhm.
inspected because of for egress reasons and so forth,
Right.
right? Smoke detectors and so forth.
Right.
So my guess is he's probably trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be out there on the property, and I imagine the test is probably simple, you probably send it off to a lab, nobody determines it right there on site, so that's how it probably works, but.
Mhm.
I guess
And
that's
there's
where-
training involved. I mean, we actually have reached out to our fire department to talk about it, but we haven't gotten very far with that. So it's something that, I know there's a sample ordinance that I have from another town.
If you have a
But we don't have it in
property that's
place.
like 20 rooms, but you can't test every trim and every window.
Right.
It falls back on the landlord when you,
Well, that was kind of what we were hoping. That's not the way.
in the lease, it usually says they have to.
Is it a statute or a law at this point, Howard? Is it a statute or a
It's a
law?
state mandate.
It's a state
The
mandate.
regulations for testing, and it's state mandate municipal pay,
Mhm.
like most things come from the state.
And we were hoping that there would be a way where we could have the landlord certify, but I know that's
They
not the
can,
way
but they're
it's
not
written.
obligated to the ultimate responsibility. If they do, they gotta go out and hire a certified company.
Right. And so that's where we are. Who's going to do them? So
I mean, how many samples would you?
You did mention that you had COVID tests.
there's training that somebody would have to take. And then there's a determination made by that person based on the training as to whether they would need to do the finger swipe or whatever, I guess it's based on how old the building is.
Yeah, like my house is 30, 50.
You don't mess that.
Right.
A couple
Right.
of the
It's very- it
municipalities
seems
that have
very
requested
burdensome,
them have
and
just,
so it's
request them for certain
something we're
events that
talking
are
about, how
happening
we're
in
gonna
their
get it done.
community, And
You
then
know.
others just have them in their municipal building as well. But mainly we distribute us as a health department to the events that we go to, or we just have them at our vaccination site as well. If anybody comes through and gets vaccinated, we also give them testing kits as well if they request them. But they're available, and a couple of them are expiring soon, so we're trying to, get out as many as we can.
Ms. Moon, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're very
Just
welcome.
thinking off the top of my head,
Yeah.
we have Stanfield Towers, which is a large senior housing complex here in Haddon Heights. I'm sure there's a number of services that residents there would probably take advantage of that you offer. I'll coordinate maybe reaching out like in the coming month or so, and we can maybe set up, whether we do a presentation or something there, but maybe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, we do that all the time.
That'd be
Yeah.
wonderful, we greatly appreciate that.
And I think Kelly, you have my email, if not,
Yeah.
I'll give it out now.
I have another question.
Sure.
I'm not sure whether, I think it's a state thing, but like from time to time I get phone calls from renters
Mhm.
who are complaining about their landlord for one reason or another, in particular rents, being increased, in their opinion unfairly. And I don't think there's anything at the county level that can assist people with that, correct? For when I
With the
look,
rent increase, being increased.
there isn't, right? I mean, it's a state, right?
No, we don't have.
When I looked it up, I pretty much could see it was the state, but.
Yeah, we don't do too much with that, we just, mainly take complaints
Mhm.
from,
If there's complaints,
tenants.
they'll go out and do an inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I
If
mean,
there's
that I know.
something hazardous
Yeah.
in the home,
And we've adopted the public health nuisance code, so that enables us to have you come in and do the
Right.
enforcement.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right, Chad?
And you guys have been out, helped us out with that on a couple occasions.
Okay, good.
Luckily for us, not recently, but.
Well, we're here, we just, again, wanted to present ourselves, just make everyone aware that we are here. Feel like we got a lot of, spotlight from COVID, but we just wanted to make sure everyone knew that we've always been around and we have other services that we can provide as well. So
Thank you
for
very
your time.
much.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a good
Daniela.
night.
Thank you.
Joe, before I move on, there's bills up on here that are from last meeting that you guys can sign.
Mhm.
We passed those, right? We passed
Yes.
the resolution already?
They just didn't,
Yeah, we got signed.
didn't get past you or something.
So then we already passed
I passed it to you, you just left. Kelly, this one's not signed by you.
All right, seeing nothing else on caucus, we'll recess from the caucus session and commence with our business meeting. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. I'll open it up for public comment on caucus and agenda items only. That's public comment on agenda and caucus items only. Not seeing anyone from the public. Close the public comment portion. We'll move into the approval of the minutes, the March 7th, 2023 work session meeting. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the March 7th, 2023 work session meeting?
So moved, but with one modification that showed that I was in attendance, which I think that change has been made.
Yeah, the changes been made.
So a motion by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a second?
Pagan second?
Second by Councilman Pagan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? All right, thank you. Next, the approval of the executive session minutes of March 7th, 2023 work session meeting. May I have a motion for the executive session minutes, please?
Phillips, so moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips. May I have a second?
Pagan second?
Second by Councilman Pagan. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on. Oh, any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Moving on to council member reports. And begin with Councilman Pagan.
All right, my first time. So I got Trish's report here, and we'll begin with the community-wide egg hunt, which is Saturday, April 1st at 10 a.m. The Haddon Heights Youth Organization parade will be on Saturday, April 22nd, and their games will begin April 13th. The Garnet Field Hockey Spring Skills and Drills and Summer Hockey Camp registration is now open, so you just gotta go to the website for details. Haas Park gym equipment installations will be installed in late spring. The Devon Avenue Sod project is scheduled for end of the sports season for after Memorial Day. And Mr. Fox will have more details on the project, so we are excited about that. The summer rec program is almost full. And we'll defer to Kelly on the details regarding the hiring of the camp counselor employees. Upgrades to the cabin are underway. New ceiling fans have been installed. The fireplace roof was fixed and flooring was ordered. And last but not least, Kelly is still gathering quotes for community center upgrades. And so we hope the community center is next for a cosmetic facelift.
Mhm. So we have ordered the ceiling tile. We do not need the vapor. Yeah, we do not need that. Steve Bach did a walkthrough with Dave. So there isn't a need for that, but we're going to use smooth ceiling tiles versus the kind that have a texture in them so that they don't catch a lot of the dust that makes it look dirty or whatever. So we just ordered them. And we are seeking quotes, Sophie is seeking quotes from electricians for converting all of the lighting to recessed. So we're working on that. And then we're just, inching along, trying to do things a little bit at a time. I'm working with Dave, and we've done the floor is actually getting installed in the cabin tomorrow. Dave's done some work with the parking lot and gravel, like leveling it, making that look a little bit better. Obviously, some people are aware that, some trees have been taken down around that area in preparation for the exercise equipment being installed. And the signs are in the process of being redone. So 2 of them will be down at a time. So if you don't see them, you'll know they're being refurbished. And that's pretty much where we are.
Will the recessed lights be LEDs?
LED? I'm sure they will be. We're just reaching out to the electricians now. We were working on getting all of the bulbs to be dimmable bulbs. And, so on the set that is existing, Councilwoman Egbert felt strongly that the lights should all be converted to recessed. Ultimately, we would love to put a new floor in the community center, but, we're inching along a little bit, making sure, we're also waiting for the quote for the windows, so we don't need to replace all the windows as we originally thought. And that also came from Steve. We're working with Audubon Hardware to try to replace the panes inside of the one that's in the worst condition. So, I'm just kind of working with Dave, and we're moving towards getting everything in order. One thing that we need to determine is whether or not we're going to wait until the summer when DPW is a little less busy to paint both facilities, or whether we're going to hire someone to paint. That needs to be done. It's pretty much the update.
Great.
Thanks, Kelly.
Sure.
Anything else, Councilman Fahey?
Planning has begun for the Firecracker 5K and also the National Night Out, which will be August 1st. I'll contribute to the last 2.
Great job.
Councilwoman Risa?
No reports, Mayor.
Council President Morgan?
Thank you, Mayor. Just, I want to bring it to council's attention. A while ago, several years ago, in fact, there had been an effort to redo our sign ordinance. And then a couple of years ago, that stalled out for some reason. I'm not sure why. But since I've been liaison to planning board, I've sort of tried to reinvigorate the effort to get that through. So there's a subcommittee on the planning board that has been going over that. And I'm hoping to get that in front of council sooner rather than later, hopefully within the next month. So I just want to make everybody aware that might be coming down. It's a pretty dense ordinance, so, and it's an important one for the town, so it's something that I hope everybody can look over once we get it ready for your review. And other than that, I just wanted to say, I did get some positive feedback from people who did rent out the cabin last week. They thought it was in really good shape and they had a good event there. So,
Good.
That's one step in a good direction. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. The one thing I forgot is we replaced all the ceiling fans in the cabin.
Nice. Thank you.
Councilman Addison?
Okay, on environmental committee, we're meeting, we're trying to hack through some strategies for charging stations. We've got some pricing and things like that, and looking at grants. The biggest issue there looks like don't really know what the established revenue stream would be, so you don't really know how to play it out. But we're continuing to look at that. Have 2 good committee members working on that. We had a resident come, brought to our attention issues with pollution that comes from Covanta trash burning. So we've had a couple of meetings and trying to discuss strategies, what we can do to encourage the parties that control those things to make some changes there, but we really haven't gotten anywhere with that either. We're looking at zero waste strategies for our town in the future as we move forward there. On Shade Tree, we're supposed to have a tree giveaway on April the 23rd. I just got an email that they don't have enough trees and they've taken our project off the list. So I wrote back to try to see if we can get back on it. We're going to try to do a planting for Shade Tree probably in April. So we're meeting next week to try to strategize and get that going. On the fire department, we had met about 3 weeks ago to finalize their contract. So we're just waiting for the final draft to bring it to council and finalize it. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman Oz. Councilwoman Phillips.
Thank you. Police department wise, I have the February 2023 monthly report, monthly statistics, 33,310 miles driven on patrol, 1,043 calls for service, 12 arrests, 11 accidents, 26 ACS complaints, and 163 motor vehicle summons issued. Councilman Addison and I also had an initial meeting with some of the police department's union members to discuss negotiations for the upcoming contract because their contract ends at the end of this year. So better to start early. And we thought that was a productive initial meeting. Chief Schneider is also going to speak to council later in executive session about hiring and promotions, considering retired Chief Scardino and Sergeant Garamore coming off the books. With respect to administration, you'll see on the agenda tonight, we have a resolution for a shared service agreement between our borough and the Township of Riverside for a shared CFO. Our current CFO's contract ends at the end of this month. We had an extensive interview process for this CFO. He seems very good. He's worked for Riverside for quite some time, and he also was a council person for several years in another municipality. So he comes with a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and we're excited to have him get started. His name's Mike Mansdorfer. With respect to redevelopment, that's moving along nicely, especially with the project at the corner of Station Ave and White Horse Pike. There was an initial meeting. The developers, Broken Grounds Properties, as promised, they have been coming to us with their plans and listening to feedback. They had an initial meeting with 2 of the members of the Historic Preservation Committee. They took the feedback from those members, made some changes to their proposed design, and now I believe they're formally going before the HPC this month, I guess the end of this month.
Yes.
So that's very promising. We hope to have them under a redevelopment contract and get a redevelopment plan officially together for that property within the next couple months. And I think that's it. A lot of reports. Sorry.
That's all good. One. Thank you, Councilwoman Phillips. Mayor's report. So I'll hold my accolades for Councilwoman Egbert until she's here, but I know she continues to work on multiple projects, as do many of you. But I think her work on the both community center and cabin, all while continuing with her work on civic groups, is just tremendous. So, but I will hold those accolades obviously for her when she's here. But I do want to specifically thank the DPW who addressed an issue, Audubon DPW, the Audubon Heights DPW. There was an issue on the sidewalks here in Station Avenue on our business district. A number of people were tripping on George Wise's property. There was a concern about the tree roots and the trees. Discussion about the proper trees for that area, and ultimately, from the business owner's perspectives, who had already taken it upon himself to try to remedy the problem a number of years ago, our DPW went out, quickly leveled those bricks, and moved to make both the walkway more safer, and and obviously our businesses were thrilled by this. So I cannot thank Dave and his team enough for their hard work, their quick action, and that is one thing Dave is definitely good at, and that is getting things done when it gets done. Other events to note. Earlier this month, I met with the the Haddon Heights Historic Society for 3 placing of placards at 3 historic locations here in Haddon Heights. I encourage residents on their walks as the weather breaks to check them out. The first one is at the old Christian Science Church that was converted to a residential property on Station Avenue in the, I don't know, blank on the block that is. It's probably what, 300 block? Yeah.
It's between, third and fourth,
34. So, yeah.
it's on the corner of third.
And then the other marker was at the old synagogue here in Haddon Heights, which was the, I believe it's temple for that. And that is at the corner of Green and the White Horse Pike. And that marker there denotes not only the synagogue, but also the fact that it was the original house location of Lippincott. And then finally, the last marker is on Kings Highway, facing the Atlantic Avenue school gymnasium. And that is denoting the original location of the first school here in Haddon Heights. Again, so met with the Historical Society, and we, and for the unveiling of those three markers, we have a number of historic markers that are throughout the community. I encourage people to get out there, as the weather gets nice, take a walk, read the markers, and attend a Historic Society meeting. If you so choose. That is it for the mayor's message. Moving on to unfinished business, we have public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2023-1529, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance to establish a cap bank at JSA 40A:4-4-5.14. They have a motion to open up the public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1529.
Russo, second.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo, may I have a second? Second by Council President Morgan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. The public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1529 is now open. If you'd like to make comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Not seeing any public comment, I'll close the public hearing portion of this ordinance. May I have a motion to close the public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1529?
Russo, second.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a second?
Phillips, second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. Now may I have a motion to finally adopt ordinance 2023-1529, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance to establish a cap bank at JSA 40A:4-45.14.
Motion by Hagan.
Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second?
Second, Russo.
Second by Councilman Russo. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Addison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Pagan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2023-1530, an ordinance amending chapter 75 of the Borough of Haddon Heights entitled Police Department Code of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, State of New Jersey. May I have a motion to open the public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1530?
Russo, second.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a second?
Hagan, second.
Seconded by Councilman Pagan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. Public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1530 is now open. If you'd like to make comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the records. Not seeing any public comment, may I have a motion to close the public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1530?
Russo, second.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a second?
Phillips, second.
Second by Councilwoman Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. Now may I have a motion for final adoption of ordinance 2023-1530?
Russo, second.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo. May I have a second?
Addison, second.
Addison, seconded by Councilman Addison. May I have a roll call, please?
Council President Morgan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Addison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Pagan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving into new business, we now have resolution 2023-75, resolution to amend the 2023 temporary budget. Resolution 2023-76, resolution authorizing transfers of appropriation reserves. Resolution 2023-77, resolution approving a raffle license for St. Rose of Lima School Parent Teacher Association for the purpose of conducting a monetary raffle, 50/50 raffle, May 13th, 2023. Resolution 2023-78, resolution approving a raffle license for St. Rose of Lima School Parent Teacher Association for the purpose of conducting a designer bid Tag Bingo event, May 13th, 2023. Resolution 2023-79, resolution authorizing a raffle license for the St. Rose of Lima School Parent Teacher Association for the purpose of conducting a penny auction, May 13th, 2023. Resolution 2023-80, resolution approving a shared service agreement by and the borough, agreement by and for the Borough of Haddon Heights and the Township of Riverside for the provision of shared chief financial officer services. Resolution 2023-81, resolution authorizing refund of summer recreation program fees. Resolution 2023-82, resolution authorizing payment of bills and claims for the second half of March. Resolution 2023-83, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. For one, discussion regarding police department hiring and promotion. Discussion is expected to be approximately half hour duration. Formal action may be taken on the foregoing items following executive session. May I have a motion for those resolutions, please? Motion by Councilwoman Russo, may I have a second?
Pagan second.
Seconded by Councilman Pagan. May I have a roll call vote?
Yes. Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Russo,
Yes.
and Councilman Pagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now open up for public comment. That's public comment on anything at all. All right, so may I have a motion to come out of executive session?
Russo, so moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Russo, may I have a second?
Pagan second.
Second by Councilman Pagan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstained or any nays? Thank you. Council not seeing anything to act on, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Phillips, so moved. Take
Motion by-
your spot.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips. May I have a second?
Pagan.
Yeah, Russo second.
Second by Councilwoman Russo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Aye.